up everyone, welcome to another video. So in the last two videos we painted the calipers and we installed the stainless steel lines on the Toyota Yaris. In this video we're going to go ahead and install some new rotors. These are from R1 Concepts, as well as some brake pads from Carbotech. So without further ado, let's get to installing them. Alright, so here we have the box for the R1 Concepts rotors. So as you can see, it's labeled here. This is the one for this is the part number for the Toyota Yaris. So if we go ahead and open this up, see it comes in this package. So these are the slotted rotors that I got. They do have an option for the drilled one as well. You can also get the drilled and slotted rotors, but for me I just decided on the slotted. I think they look nice and I think they'll be good enough for my application of just autocrossing and daily driving. So you can see both front and back, they have the cross drilled, the slotted, and so these will go onto the car. They are the 4x100 bolt pattern for the Yaris, and then these are just kind of jacking holes to remove the old rotor or install the new rotor. So yeah, so these are the R1 Concepts rotors that I will be installing. So as far as brake pads, these are the Carbotech brake pads that I just ordered. This is the part number for the Toyota Yaris. And these are the 1521 series. So these are the street application brake pads. So these are good for daily driving and spirited driving, I guess. I talked to the representative on the phone when I was ordering these, and they said the break-in procedure for these brake pads is basically not to do any excessive hard braking for like the first 200 to 300 miles when installing them. So these should be pretty good. Hopefully they give me a little bit better stopping power than the old OEM ones. So there's one for each side. So this is one pair, and there's another pair here, right there. So these are supposed to be better, and they produce a lot less dust compared to the OEM ones. So we'll see how these perform after I install them. So normally you want to install new brake pads with new rotors or resurfaced rotors, because you don't want any warpage or any of the irregularities of the old brake system to transfer over to the new rotor. So it's always good to have a new set of brake pads with a new set of rotors. So let's get to installing. In order to install it, of course you gotta remove the caliper and the rotor. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna undo the caliper and remove this whole bracket assembly out of the way. So just like how we did when we painted the calipers to remove it, only this time we're not disconnecting the brake line that's in the back. Right. As you can see, the brake line is still attached, but you don't want to let this dangling by the brake line. So what you want to do is to move it to the side, but you want to make sure you don't allow any slack to occur. So you allow this to rest like that. That should keep any tension away from the brake line itself from stretching or causing any damage. Now we can remove the old brake pads. Still quite a bit of life left in them, but the rotors could really use an upgrade. So keep those out. Then now we need to remove this bracket. Alright, now we have access to the rotor. So normally this should come loose. As you can see, it's kind of seized on. What you can try to do is hit it. I have to use a little bit of penetrant. It's seized on pretty well. So let that sit for a little bit, and then we'll try taking it off. Clearly, this is stuck on. Can't get it off. So what you can do is use a bolt. There's two holes here. So this is a M8 by 1.25 bolt that you can use to try and remove the rotor. So what I'm going to do, I have two of these. I'm going to put them both on both sides. A little bit of NECs, just a little bit. So there's this end here. Get it into here. So this is a 13 millimeter. I'm just gonna. So we're just gonna go back and forth. Just like that, comes off. Now we can go ahead and clean the hub a little bit. Alright, so before I go ahead and mount these brand new rotors, I'm going to go ahead and clean it real quick. Just going to take some good old brake cleaner and just spray it over it. Normally it comes with like this oily protective thing to prevent it from corroding and rusting. So just going to put some brake cleaner. I'm going to just take a shop towel and just kind of go over and wipe it down. Same thing with the back. Alright, so when it comes to installing these rotors, these slotted rotors, and the same goes for the drilled rotors, there's not really a specific direction. The only way the rotors matter is if these vanes are in a certain direction. But luckily these are straight vanes, meaning the vanes between the two, they go up and down. So they go perpendicular all the way around. Some other rotors have curve. There's a curve to it. Some of them they curve like this, the vanes on the inside. So that will indicate that it's a directional rotor. But as far as these ones, these are straight vanes. so there's nothing special about it. You could actually mount this on the driver's side, so it could be on this side, on the opposite side of the car. But on the R1 Concepts website, they give a link to which side or which direction the slots should be, and according to the website, they should be this way. So on the passenger side, they will go on this way. The slots pointing away. So this is the front of the car. So this would be the correct way according to R1 Concepts website. Now you could mount the other ones the other way, where the slots are going the opposite way. But I'm just going with what R1 Concepts puts on the website, and so that's how I'm going to install them. So it's pretty simple. Take the new rotor, basically just line it up and just slide it on, just like that. So now that the rotor is installed, we can go ahead and reinstall this bracket. And this one's pretty simple. Went ahead and cleaned it up a little bit. Had a little bit of brake dust on it, but it's not gonna affect it that much. Of course, this just goes in, and then just install the bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and install the brake pads. So of course these are the brake pads from Carbotech, the 1521 series. So on the old ones, on the old brake pads, they come with this like backing, and then like there's this little clip here. So on the new ones, they don't really have that. So I'm not entirely sure if Carbotech recommends taking this guy and this and installing it in here, but I just did anyways, and so here's one of them that I did. Took the old one, and it seems to fit just fine, so there's no problem. So it's just a matter of taking this off and then taking this off and then putting it on the new one. So far looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. So these two are the same, and then we'll go ahead and install the brake pads. Of course, before we go ahead and put it, we're going to put some lubricant on the sliding joints. This one and this one. Alright, brake pads are in. And the last thing to do is to put this in. Or just remember, you gotta compress the piston. So take your piston compressing tool. Alright, now that that's compressed, slide this back in. Then take our piston bolts, caliper piston bolts. Alright, so that's about it for the installation of the new rotors and the brake pads. Pretty straightforward. The only thing left now is to do the driver's side. Same process, just remove the old rotor, put the new one on, put the new brake pads on, and that's about it. Pretty simple. The only thing left to do is to bed in the brake pads. So I'm going to double check to make sure I do the correct process for bedding in these brake pads. So that's it. We're just going to go ahead and start doing the bedding process. So let's go. Okay, so I looked at the bed-in procedures on the website for Carbotech brake pads. It turns out that the procedures only apply to the AX series and the XP series of the brake pads. The brake pads that I have are the 1521s, which are the street level pads. So I'm going to go based on the recommendation by the phone representative that told me not to do any hard braking the first 200 to 300 miles. So I'm going to go around the block, just driving around a little bit around my neighborhood. Just gonna, apply a little bit of brake pressure to get the pad material transferred onto the new rotor, as well as just kind of getting used to the new brake feel, because right now the brake pedals feel very stiff because it's brand new pads, brand new rotors. The brake fluid is topped off, so I'm gonna go ahead, just drive around a little bit, and then we'll just see what happens. So here we go. Alright, so as you can see here, starting to transfer over. You can tell the difference between the rotor, so where the pad material, so you can see that this kind of grayish area is where the pad is, and then yeah, so it's slowly transferring over. Driver side, you can see the pad material transferring over to this one, and it's also scraping the top coat of this rotor. Alright, so that's about it for this video, guys. Hope you found it helpful and informative. I'm gonna take it easy over the next few days to break in the brake pads and the rotors, as recommended by Carbotech, to not do any hard braking the first 200 to 300 miles of installing the brake pads. So I'll take it easy on the way to work, and as I'm driving on the road, I'm just kind of applying light pressure, light to medium pressure on the brake pads, and just kind of slowly breaking them in. So yeah, stay tuned for the next video, guys. Sorry if I haven't posted anything in a while. I was actually out last month on a business trip that my company sent me away for, so couldn't do anything. But luckily my brake pads came in the week I got back, which was last week, and then I just figured, perfect weekend, Labor Day weekend here in the US, to go ahead and work on my car, install the rotors from R1 Concepts and the brake pads from Carbotech. So yeah. So yeah, stay tuned for more video, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Shoots.